come in here, you're gonna see a difference in the
We are
cleaning up part.
talking about women's right movements. Could you first sign this paper here, just giving me consent to interview you?
Okay.
You're gonna put your name here. I'm gonna sign here.
Up here?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, and I'm gonna sign here.
Well, you can move it too. I had to write kind of slow because I didn't want.
Okay. Ms. Jones, could you first give me a little bit of background about yourself? Like your state, you can state your name, where you were born at, how many siblings you had.
Oh my Lord. Oh well, I knew I was born in a place called Ocilla, Georgia.
Okay.
I went to school at country roads. I forgot the name of the school. Ocilla High School. I put it like that.
Okay.
But it wasn't. You know, I couldn't start off in no high school.
Okay.
I mean, it was well, from the first grade through, I'd say the 6th or the 7th grade. It was all in one school.
Okay.
And then when we leave there, we would go to the only high school that was there.
Okay.
But we called, the name of it was Ocilla High School.
Okay.
Ocilla, Georgia. I guess you might have heard that name.
Yes.
Ocilla, Georgia. Irving County.
Yes.
That's Georgia. And we lived out in the country.
Okay.
From the city. It was about 100. I like to say 150 miles.
Okay.
It was about a mile. It was about a mile and a half from the school, and we had to walk from there to the schoolhouse and back home in the afternoon. We had to go across they weren't named high rises, but it was a big old ditch, like maybe say about wide as this thing here, and it had boats across there.
Okay.
And I was always afraid to go.
Well, how many siblings did you have? How many brothers and sisters, did you have?
Did I have?
Yes, ma'am.
I just have one son.
How many sisters and brothers do you have?
Oh, I have it was 8 by my mother.
Okay.
Okay, my dad was married before he married my mother. Those were my brothers too.
Okay.
But I don't know how many of them it was. I can remember two girls and 3 boys.
Okay. What's your first and last name?
Then.
Yes.
Now.
Then. Or even now.
Well, that's now.
What's your
well, I was always named Luella Reeves.
Okay.
Reaves.
Okay. During the women's right movements, you remember that when you maybe didn't have the option to vote back then?
No, you couldn't do nothing back then.
Okay.
That movement just got started here back in the 60s,
Okay. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
I really don't know too much about it, but I do know before in the starting of it, because I was working downtown.
Okay.
To Sears and Roebuck.
Yes, ma'am.
And they left. Sears and Roebuck left and went across the bridge. You know what Sears,
yes, ma'am.
Sears is. But anyway, Sears was downtown on Bay Street, and I was working down there, and they had separate parts of restaurants. That's part of when the movement started.
Yes, ma'am.
And we had to go, the blacks had to go to one side.
Yes, ma'am.
And the whites were to the other side and eat.
Okay.
And I remember a lady, she really didn't, I don't know whether she knew or this was part of the movement, the starting of the movement.
Yes, ma'am.
She went in the white side.
Yes, ma'am.
and sat down, and they asked her to get up
Yes, ma'am.
and go on the other side, and she wouldn't move.
Okay. Well, could you tell me why did you think women should get the same equal opportunity as a men do?
Can I tell you why?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't want. You don't want. Well, according to what it is, I mean, if even especially on the pay line.
Okay. You're right about that.
If I'm if I got to set to if I got a group of people I'm over and I got to take care of them and tell them what to do and what not to do, and the guy across the street got
You're right.
got a group got to tell why he got to get paid more than I'm paying, and education is education, same thing.
Yes, ma'am.
You doing the same thing I'm doing.
Yes, ma'am.
So pay me just like you pay him.
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
I'm for that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Do you feel that things should have been left the way they were back then?
Oh, no.
As far as the woman being able to take care of the household, make sure the kids are okay, cook and clean while the man go out and work. Do you feel like right now today it should be the same?
No.
Could you tell me why?
Because I want to do my own thing. If I want to go out,
yes, ma'am.
Go out, I go out. If I don't want to go out, I won't go out. And I'll still do my house chores.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, do you feel that women are still being discriminated against?
Yes. Listen to my
No, you're fine. So you strongly feel that right now today women are being discriminated against?
They are.
Yes, ma'am.
We still are.
Could you tell me reasons why you feel that way?
Because I've seen it in the action.
Do you feel that women still now today don't get the same opportunity, equal opportunity as a man, as far as the pay?
No, they don't.
What about education wise?
Well, if you more women usually have a better education than guys anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Just like this woman fixing to try to run for president. You ever heard? Well, I know you haven't heard of it though. Now I never heard tell of a black or white woman running for no president. Chisholm. What that woman was named? She ran for president once, but that was after the movement got started. Chisholm.
Yes, ma'am.
Chisholm.
Okay.
Chisholm. What was that woman's name? Oh. But this is the white woman talking about running now.
Well, could I ask you, do you vote?
Oh yes.
Okay. Do you cherish that? Do you value that you have that that you can vote?
Yes,
you value that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I go every time I can get if I have to be sick not to go.
Okay. What about do you ever regret being a part of the women's movement? The movement. Do you ever regret being a part of that era?
Honestly speaking, I don't.
Okay.
I'm just thankful for the time that I come into the world up to now.
Yes, ma'am.
And whatever went on just went on. I mean, what I could do to help out with the movement, I did. But it wasn't anything. I wasn't actually in working with it,
Yes, ma'am.
But I did what I thought was right to do with it,
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Maybe that kind of helps out a little bit. Look like it's something else I could say.
Okay. You can go.
Just like riding the buses. That's part of the movement. That ain't been that's way on down the line after the movement got started.
Yes, ma'am.
The black sit in the back and the white sit in the front. And I've seen that happen right here and going downtown from out here downtown.
Okay. What about, do you feel that the roles, can you tell me how different are the roles as a woman from then to now? What's the difference of the role?
The role that they saying you're supposed to do?
Yes, ma'am. As a woman, from then and now.
It's a lot of difference in the way people think. A lady can.
Can you give me some ideas, like as far as now you have a voice, then you didn't have a voice?
No, you had to you all but had to obey your husband.
Yes, ma'am.
If he said get out there and wallow in the ditch, 9 times out of 10 you had to get out there and start wilding. I mean, that's an example. You know, I don't guess nobody ever did that, but
could you say that women now today work harder now than they did then?
Yes, ma'am.
And what about far as the pay? Again, we're talking about pay. Do you feel that women now today?
Some of it's not getting equal pay to a man, but the pay is closer together. I mean, the lady is getting women money is not too far from in other words, if they both are doing the same job,
yes, ma'am.
9 times out of 10 they're getting the same pay.
Okay.
But now I don't know if anybody I could say is doing that. That's just like, okay, I got a bunch of kids here. You got a bunch of them over. The guy got a bunch of them over there.
Yes, ma'am.
Both of us teaching school.
Mhm.
That I'm getting the same pay that he's getting.
Okay. What about do you feel that you have had your rights revoked specifically because you were a woman? Have you ever felt like you were being targeted because you were a woman?
Never.
You've never felt that way?
I never got into that.
That's good.
Never,
That's good. Was there ever a time that you have felt like you or another woman deserved the equal pay as a man for the equal pay of work that you have done?
Say that again.
Was there ever a time that you felt like you or another woman deserved the equal pay for equal work as a man received?
In other words, I never thought too much about it.
Okay.
I never did. Because look at, I was so happy to get what I was getting. The pay I was getting, it was. I'm trying to think of certain things that really will fit your paper. For instance, say, you know what a farm is.
Yes, ma'am.
If you live in, because I was raised on a farm.
Okay.
Okay. Back in the day, the cotton had to be chopped.
Yes, ma'am.
I've chopped cotton. I've picked cotton. You know what cotton is, don't
you? Yes, ma'am.
And I just don't see no difference. I didn't then, and I still don't now, because at the end of the deal, we just got paid off. I didn't know who was getting what. You
okay.
Unless if it was something to weigh, quite natural. If I was picking grapes or something, and I picked just as many, the man more than the man, quite naturally I get more pay than him. But if he got more than me, but if we had the same amount, we got the same pay.
Okay, so right now, you are totally satisfied with the women's right movement.
Yeah,
you've seen it grow. You've seen the change. You've seen women being able to have a voice of their own. You've seen that a woman has go out and work versus being home and, I'm going to say, somewhat being a slave back then.
And halfway taking care of a man.
You're completely satisfied with that. You don't feel that there's no way that things should have been left like they were back then.
Oh no. Very definitely not.
Okay. Okay.
Because I wouldn't go. Ain't no man gonna come over here.
Okay. My name is Letitia Green.
Tisha.
And this is. You gonna state your name?
Oh. How you want me to give it to you?
However.
Luella Jones.
This is Luella Jones, and I just did an interview on women's right movements.
You through it?
Thank you.
You through asking questions? You can ask me some more questions if you want. Yeah, that was kind of neat though. Now I know that.